The Secretary of State of the United States, Anthony Blinken, recently said that he does not support the recognition of the sovereignty of Israel over the occupied Syrian Golan, even though noting that the territory is relevant to Israel's security. The Syrian government considered that these statements do not implement any change in the Washington policy of unconditional support of the Israeli occupation of the Syrian territory. Our correspondent has the story.
Washington has no legal foundation to speak about the sovereignty of the Israeli entity over the Syrian Golan Heights, like Tel Aviv does not have the right to claim this Syrian territory. This is the opinion of many Syrians who endured that this is a Syrian Arab territory, and it will always be like that, and that they would not stop fighting until its total liberation.
Netanyahu does not have the right to say that Golan is going to remain under the sovereignty of the Israel entity, because East Palestine is a territory that belongs to the Palestinians and the Arabs, as well as Golan is a Syrian Arab territory, and without question it will remain like that. Syrian people and leadership are determined to continue the struggle to release occupied Golan and recover all occupied territories.
In spite of this new position of the United States administration, which contradicts the position of a former President Donald Trump regarding the occupied Syrian Golan, and on the ground the situation remains the same. The Israeli occupation regime, with the support of Washington, continues with its colonialist plans in that Syrian territory, in addition to stealing its natural resources and expropriating its growing land. It uses this territory as a platform from which launch continuous aggressions against the Syrian people and army.
The presence of this occupying entity in the Syrian territories is not legal and violates all international and humanitarian laws. And this violation continues with the support of the United States. So, the change of position on this matter, it is no more than an act of media propaganda that contradicts the actual U.S. action in favor of the Israeli occupation, which is the essence of the problem.
In the War of Liberation of October, 48 years ago, the Syrian Arab army recovered a third of the Syrian Golan occupied by the Zionist entity. However, and despite the numerous resolutions of the United Nations General Assembly and its Security Council, which demanded to put an end to the Israeli occupant since 1967, the Zionist entity has under occupation an area of 1,200 square kilometers, rich in natural resources, located in the south of Syria, a situation that the Syrians are committed to change, in disregard of Washington's support to the Israeli occupation of this Syrian territory.